episode of Lyrical Breakdown.
I'm Brad.
And I'm Lisa.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you guys. All right, today is episode number 9.
Number 9 already.
The song is One. It's by the band Metallica off of their album And Justice for All. That released in 1988. The songwriters were James Hetfield and Lars Ulrich. The genre is thrash metal rock. So, do a little Metallica. They've been around for a while, so we'll do some Metallica.
Yes, they have.
So the drink of the day is...
What is the drink of the day?
It's called a Loaded Cherry Gin Fizz.
All right. Loaded Cherry Gin Fizz.
Yes, it's got a lot of red to it. And this song has to do with a soldier in the battlefield, kind of. So that's why I chose this drink.
So you just thought we'd just drink blood.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's a cup of dark cherries, pitted, and you got to either juice it or do it the old-fashioned way, and you use your feet and you get all the... I didn't use my feet.
Okay,
I
good.
used my
Yeah,
hand.
I worried there for a second.
I used my hand. And so I squished it to get all the cherry juice out.
Mm-hmm.
And then an ounce of gin. So you got to get an ounce of cherry juice for each glass. An ounce of gin, a half of ounce lime juice, a half of an ounce simple syrup. It says a dash of cherry bitters. We couldn't find it, so I just didn't put it in there.
All right.
And then club soda to finish. And, of course, it's over ice. So that is the drink. So we're going to go ahead and give this lovely thing a try.
All right. We're drinking the blood of the soldiers.
Mm-hmm. All right. Cheers. That is really good.
Yeah.
I don't taste any gin in it at all.
I
did put gin in.
A little more oomph to it, but...
This is really good. Oh my goodness. I am having this one again.
Yeah?
I can taste that lime.
Mm-hmm.
I can taste the cherries. And then that's it. So I can drink this all day long.
Yeah, I don't taste the gin at all.
No, it'd probably sneak up on you.
So
if you just...
How much gin did you put in here?
Just an ounce.
You could probably bump that up a little bit.
You could if you wanted to taste the gin.
Well,
this is really refreshing, though.
Yeah, it's good.
I love this drink. All right, so, yeah, this is a delicious drink.
It is very easy to drink, that's for sure.
Yep, I mean, if I stop talking, it's probably because I'm just enjoying this drink. It's really delicious.
There's definitely no puckering involved like the last drink.
No puckering involved in this one. That's so delightful. Okay.
Very delightful.
Let's get off of the drink now and go to the song. Shall we?
Well, I'll keep my drink while you read the lyrics.
Okay, so the lyrics for One from Metallica. I can't remember anything, can't tell if this is true or dream. Deep down inside, I feel the scream. This terrible silence stops me. Now that the war is through with me, I'm waking up, I cannot see. That there is not much left of me, nothing is real but pain now. Hold my breath as I wish for death, oh please God, wake me. Back in the womb, it's much too real, in Pump's life that I must feel, but can't look forward to reveal, look to the time when I'll live. Fed through the tube that sticks in me, just like a wartime novelty, tied to machines that make me be, cut this life off from me. Hold my breath as I wish for death, oh please God, wake me. Now the world is gone, I'm just one, oh God, help me. Hold my breath as I wish for death, oh please God, help me. Darkness imprisoning me, all that I see, absolute horror, I cannot live, I cannot die, trapped in myself, body my holding cell. Landmine has taken my sight, taken my speech, taken my hearing, taken my arms, taken my legs, taken my soul, left me with life in hell. That's it. So
it's not a very cheerful song.
Oh, definitely not. Nope.
But
It's a little bit of a shorter song, but the song itself is actually like 6.5 minutes.
yeah, definitely.
And then they don't actually repeat. I mean, everything I read is everything they sing.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of I shouldn't say the song. I mean, the video itself has. We'll get to how they did the video and what's in it and stuff, but that has a little bit of speech. But I think even if you listen to the single, it might still be that long because they have a lot of their instrumental
Right.
part
It
of
takes
it.
a little bit to get going, and
Yeah,
it's
it's a really good song though.
yeah, for sure.
I really like it. I had no idea what it was about
Yeah.
until I looked into it.
Mm.
Now I do. But let's break it down, Brad. You can take over while I drink this lovely drink.
All right. So, I mean, obviously, it is, pretty obvious what it's about, but like they do a really good job of kind of, it's another one of those songs that comes from a different perspective than what you normally sing about. Here, a song about like a soldier is not uncommon. There's a lot of different songs, but it's usually about them going to war, coming back, and then dealing with the things of war. But this is like, he's pretty much a vegetable at this point, or he can't do anything. So let's go through it. So I can't remember anything. Can't tell if this is true or a dream. Deep down inside, I feel to scream. This terrible silence stops me. So he's just in a hospital bed. I'm guessing kind of like a coma, or not so much a coma, but he's hooked up to tubes and everything has life support almost. Kind of, that's what it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it could be a coma too, because people have said they're in this like comatose state, maybe a comatose
Yeah,
state,
that's probably a better way
and they
to
can
put it.
kind of like he can't see or hear, but like they're there, they're present, but they can't do anything.
Right.
They're a prisoner inside of their own body, so
Yeah.
that's kind of what it seems like.
Right. Now that the war is through with me, I'm waking up. I cannot see. So I mean, that's kind of, now that the war is through with me. That's kind of a cool line.
Mm-hmm.
And he's waking up. He cannot see. So lost his sight. That there is not much left of me. Nothing is real but pain now. So I mean,
Yeah, that would suck.
yeah.
I mean, that really would suck.
Right. I mean,
You can't see. I mean,
yeah.
and you feel a lot of pain and
Yeah, the terrible silence stops once we can't speak or nothing. So he's like, but all you do is lay there and just feel the pain all day.
yeah, and not to be able to see what happened to you, so he can't see, but yet he can feel that he's not all there.
Right.
So that would be terrifying as well.
Absolutely. Hold my breath as I wish for death. Oh, please God, wake me.
So what do you think he means there? Like, I get that he's holding his breath, he wants to die.
Right.
But then he says, oh, please God, wake me. So do you think he means wake me up on the other side? Like,
That's the way I take it.
okay.
Because otherwise, he wishes for death at this point because,
Right.
he's such in bad shape. Oh, please God, wake me. So that's what I'm thinking. Like, okay, just
wake
let me pass.
up on the other side, like let me
Right.
pass through. Which that's really, I would have never have thought to write lyrics like that. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that particular way. So that was kind of genius on their part.
Yeah.
So,
That's how I take it.
I mean, now, yeah, that's what. Right now, as we were reading, that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of what I was thinking. Like he wished for death, but he's saying, "Please wake me on
Right.
the other side," so he doesn't have to feel it and he can see and all
Right.
that stuff.
Back in the womb, it's much too real. In Pump's life that I must feel. So back in the womb, it's much too real. I'm guessing like that's just his. To me, it's kind of like in his hospital bed. He's got all the machines
Yeah.
hooked to him because in Pump's life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like
So that's what he's thinking of. Like he can maybe in his own head, he's picturing himself just as a defenseless little being.
Yeah, because like when you're obviously a baby in the womb, you're dependent on that life support of
Yeah.
the mother. So I
Yep.
mean, but can't look forward to reveal. Look to the time when I'll live.
So again, I think he's like to the time where I'll live on the other side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. Fed through the tube that sticks in me. So I mean, he's getting, all of it. Only reason he's alive is because of the machines and everything
Right.
else. Just like a wartime novelty. And that's kind of a cool line. It's,
Mm-hmm.
because they do like, I'm sure everybody, using him like, oh, he's a hero or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's suffering and
Right.
on death's bed, tied to machines that make me be, cut this life off from me. So he always throws that in there, like he wants to.
Mm-hmm.
That's enough,
Yep.
Let's go. Hold my breath as I wish for death. Oh, please God, wake me. Now the world is gone. I'm just one. Oh God, help me. So now the world is gone. What do you think about that? Think that's just because he can't be a part of it? Or-
Yeah, because he's stuck in his own little, his little own reality where he
Yeah.
can't communicate with anybody.
And I'm just one, so it's kind of it's just
It's just
He's on
himself.
his own, yeah.
Yep.
hold my breath as I wish for death. Oh, please God, help me. So there, he changed that from wake, oh, please God, wake me to help me on that one.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's getting desperate.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when the song kicks in. So for the way they sing and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to read it without like headbanging and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But darkness imprisoning me, all that I see, absolute horror. I cannot live, I cannot die, trapped in myself, body my holding cell. So it's just, he's in darkness, he can't see, obviously he can't live, he can't die because he's on machines and
Right.
he's
Yep.
just trapped in himself. So I mean,
Isn't that crazy?
yeah. The landmine has taken my sight, taken my speech, taken my hearing, taken my arms, taken my legs, taken my soul, left me with life and hell. So, I mean, he does nothing.
No,
Yeah,
he's
he-
just there. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's just there,
Yeah.
and like he can probably maybe feel them when they're prodding because he can feel the feeding tube.
Right.
So like he knows when they're there,
Mm,
but he cannot communicate at all.
right.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's kind of a,
It's crazy. That's a
Yeah.
crazy song.
yeah, especially, I mean, it was written in 88,
Yeah.
but it's I guess that's a different take on most soldier type songs.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think I don't know. I mean, I can imagine it's maybe not to that extent. I'm sure there's soldiers that have been to that extent for sure, but even just that feeling of how these soldiers think inside their
Right.
own mind,
Yeah, and so like the concept behind this was based on a movie. I guess there was this kind of a low budget movie, which when I read the about, we'll kind of learn about that movie because they'll use it in their video. But the movie was based on a soldier that went in. Obviously, the whole song tells you what happened to the soldier. So
Right.
the only way in the movie he could communicate was they finally realized he was doing Morse code. And so in the Morse code, it was kill me.
Gotcha.
So like when James Hetfield was the original one that just had, I don't know if you must have saw the movie and just kind of like, started kind of coming to him how he wanted to interpret the song. Then he got with Lars and they wrote this. So
Right.
I mean, they did a really good job at kind of putting all these lyrics together to kind of paint this story.
Yeah.
Again, I never really, when you watch the video too, you're like, this is such a weird video. And weird words, but
Yeah.
I never really pieced it all together until I started to research it. And then I'm like, wow, this is kind of a really dark song.
Yeah.
And that would suck.
Yeah. It would
Like
suck.
if this really happened and you had no way of communicating, and then for somebody to come in and be like, I think it's Morse code, and for that person, even on the other side, like if you realize that person was tapping out like kill me,
Mhm.
then you'd be like, wow,
Right.
what do we do?
Mm-hmm.
Do we just shut off the machines and let him go or what? So
Right.
yeah, that would suck. So it's really
Yeah.
interesting song.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's well written, and of course, when you listen to the actual song, the music's really good, and it's
Mm-hmm.
put together really well. And
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, yeah, we'll go to the about stuff. Because, I never really listened to Metallica. Um, they were formed in 1981. So it's an American heavy metal band who formed in 1981 in Los Angeles by vocalist guitarist James Hetfield and drummer Lars Ulrich, and has been based in San Francisco for most of their career. So it started 81. I was like in
one,
diapers. I was
no.
one. So the time I got into music, I never really listened to them
Right.
all the time. Well, ever really. I mean, I'd hear them because I'd watch MTV and all that stuff, so I would hear them,
Right.
but I never really, didn't follow them. But I mean, they're
Yeah.
really good.
I mean, I've listened to Metallica for a long time, but I mean, I probably started late '80s, early '90s when I first really started getting into them.
Mm-hmm.
So
And that's about when they started to take off. Anyway, I mean, like they were known, but they weren't.
yeah, that's a whole
As
nother thing. There's a big controversy on that because back in the older days, before like the Black Album came out, everybody was like they're true fans. It's like their followers. But then the Black Album came out, and it's a little more commercial. Not so much to me, not the music wise, but just production wise. It was better
Oh,
production.
uh-huh.
But then, so there was a huge fiasco after that. Everybody saying they sold out, and then
I
there's spike
see.
as more popular people were starting to hear them. And then, but
Yeah.
I don't care. I thought the Black Album was really good, and then I don't. Yeah, I don't care what other people think.
Right.
So
So their current lineup, like today, if you were to look at their lineup, also includes Kirk Hammett, who's the lead guitar and bassist, Robert Trujillo.
I don't
Oh.
know. Trujillo, I think is.
Trujillo, that's the bassist.
Yeah,
Bassist.
he was he's one of my favorite bass players ever. He was in Suicidal Tendencies and then Infectious Grooves.
Okay.
So we played Infectious Grooves in the car all the time.
Yeah.
He was the bass player there.
Oh, okay.
So
So Metallica has released 10 studio albums, 4 live albums, a cover album, which I didn't know they released a cover album, but they did. 5 extended plays, 37 singles, and 39 music videos. So they have a
Wow.
lot of stuff.
I didn't
in their
realize they had that
career.
many music videos. Holy crap,
Yeah.
39.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? The band has won 9 Grammy Awards. Metallica ranks as one of the most commercially successful bands of all time, having sold over 125 million albums worldwide as of 2018.
That's
So,
crazy.
yeah.
Although I don't really like their newer stuff that much.
Yeah, I've not heard the newer stuff, so can't
But
really say.
right,
I mean, they're getting older, so kind of changes a little bit, I would imagine.
yeah, that could be too.
I mean, it could be. So one of the major things that happened was the bus crash in September 1986 during the European leg of Metallica's Damage Inc. tour. Members drew cards to determine which bunks on the tour bus they would sleep in. Burton, who was the bassist, won and chose to sleep in Hammett's bunk. At around sunrise near Sweden, the bus driver lost control and skidded, which caused the bus to overturn several times. Ulrich, Hammett, and Hetfield sustained no serious injuries. However, bassist Burton was pinned under the bus and died.
Yeah, that's
So that's crazy
crazy.
because they drew cards. So, and I mean, like, Kirk is the one that would have been sleeping there. If they hadn't drawn cards, Kirk would have been there.
Right.
Or if the cards would have ended up any other way, somebody else might have ended up there.
Right.
And like,
That's crazy. It's just that
yeah. So is
Burton
Kirk,
was a killer bass player too. He was good.
was he?
Yeah.
That's a shame. Yeah, that's a bummer. So I mean, that would really like impact the band a lot. You know,
Well,
they were
absolutely.
all close and everything, and then that happens, and to know like to feel that guilt
Mm-hmm.
that like if we wouldn't have done the cards, but then if they wouldn't have done the cards, one of them might have,
Yeah.
died instead, because no matter what, if somebody was sleeping in that bunk, they would have been pinned and they would
Right.
have died. So, and Kirk is like, when I watched all the interviews, he to me seems like the most happiest. He's got these like huge dimples, and he was always smiling and stuff.
Right.
So, yeah, that'd be crazy thinking that could have been me.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So in 1998, Metallica released the first album since Burton's death, and Justice for All, which is the album that One is on.
Yeah.
The album reached number 6 on the Billboard 200 and was the band's first album to reach top 10 following the release of And Justice for All. Metallica released its debut music video for the song One. So this was the very first music video they ever released was for
Okay.
this song, which the band performed in an abandoned warehouse. The footage was remixed with the film Johnny Got His Gun. Rather than organize an ongoing licensing deal, Metallica purchased the rights to the film. The
That's
remix,
pretty crazy.
yeah, the remix video was submitted to MTV with an alternative performance-only version that was held back in case MTV banned the remixed version. MTV accepted the remixed version. The video was viewers' exposure to Metallica. So
Yeah, that's crazy.
that must be like when, a lot more people probably seen Metallica for the first time was, wow, what's this band? You know what I mean?
Right.
Because that's how I got. That's how I found out bands back in the day, when I actually watched MTV.
Yeah.
When they had music videos in the
Right.
morning, and I would watch before I went to school. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is how I discovered most of the bands that I used to listen to.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was interesting
Right.
for the video.
Yeah, I didn't know that was their first one.
Yeah, because they had already had albums. So
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy. So,
But I suppose I don't know when MTV really got going, but
I don't
it
know
was
either.
88. So
Yeah, it's probably about when it did get going.
yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm sure it was around before that, but I just don't remember when it really
Took off.
got its momentum.
Another major controversy was the Napster case.
I remember that. I hated Metallica during that time.
A lot of people did.
Yeah, I like
Right.
getting free music.
Exactly. And I think a lot of people like that because
Yeah.
you either had the radio or you had to buy it.
Yeah.
If
But
you had
see-
you could have a mixtape from the radio, but you'd have, it was like cut music and
Right.
talking from the DJs and all that stuff. So,
I mean, I get it from their point of view now, that I'm older, but when I was younger, I mean, like, you only had so many different ways to hear music. You're not going to hear any new music on the radio.
right.
So if it wasn't on MTV, then how are you going to find it besides just buying random CDs? So I always went on Napster, download some stuff I never heard before, try it. If I liked it, then I'd find the CD.
Yeah.
That's how I did it.
And
But
I
you're-
think that's what Napster was trying to do, is get bands that you didn't have access to an
Right.
opportunity to be found.
Yeah.
I mean, so it paved the way for what we now know as streaming devices, I think. So, but in 2000, Metallica discovered that a demo of its song, I Disappear, which was supposed to be released in combination with Mission Impossible 2 soundtrack, was receiving radio airplay. So they traced the source of the leak back and found that the file was on Napster, peer-to-peer file sharing network, and also found the band's entire catalog was freely available. So I get it. I mean, here was a song that was supposed to come out on a soundtrack,
Right.
and now it's like, how is that on the radio? And then they realize that people are sharing all these songs. So Lars led the case against Napster for Metallica for copyright infringement, unlawful use of digital audio interface device, and Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act. So he went after them big time,
Right.
which is why a lot of people didn't like Lars during that time. A settlement between Metallica and Napster was released. Under the terms of the agreement, Napster agreed to block users who shared music by artists who do not want their music shared. Which makes sense. I mean, that was, that makes sense to do that. In 2002, Napster filed bankruptcy. In 2001, so now we're moving on. So that's done. That's the Napster stuff. So
Right.
I never used it. Brad used it. He liked it. But I can understand why they got mad.
Oh, from a business point of view, yeah, you don't want to give your music away when that's how you make a living.
Exactly. In 2001, Jason Newsted, who had replaced the bassist who died on the bus, which you were telling me he was treated pretty poorly.
Yes.
And they alluded to that on, is it Puppets of Masters of, what was that album?
The Master of Puppets.
Yeah, so they alluded to that on an interview they did for that album was, he freely admitted in that interview that it was a rough start.
Right.
And then Ulrich kind of played it off, but you could tell there was still some animosity between them.
Yeah, big time. There was...
Yeah, and that's sad for him because he's coming in just to play the music and do that job that you wanted him to do, and then you're treating him horrible, and he had nothing to do with the death of the other bassist. You know what I mean? So it was unfortunate that he had to go through that.
Yeah.
But he left Metallica in 2001 because of conflicts of Hetfield, who opposed Newsted wanting to release an album with his side project, Echo Brain. Hetfield said, when someone does a side project, it takes away from the strength of Metallica, and it's like cheating on your wife in a way. Yeah.
Hetfield sounds a little insecure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll say more on this in a second. When Newsted brought up Hetfield working with 2 Corrosion of Conformity albums, Hetfield stated, my name isn't on those records and I'm not out trying to sell them. Where would it end? Does he start touring with it? Does he sell shirts? Is it his band? Current bassist joined them. Okay, so yeah, is it his band? Yeah, he does sound a little insecure.
Yeah.
And I have to say that that's kind of shitty of him to not allow other band members to go and pursue other avenues because in life, we don't always just like one thing. We have varying tastes. So
yeah, I can see if it was interfering, like he's supposed to show up at the studio and he's off touring and with his other, if it's interfering with Metallica, then I get it. But if they're on some downtime and he's out
doing that other
jamming
side
with his other
project,
band,
yeah, I mean, it just sounds like Hetfield was a little bit of a control freak, wanting to control him. So if we're talking marriage, because he brought up marriage, you would be a control freak, and I would say divorce anyway. So I think that Jason did the right thing by leaving because I don't think anybody...
Probably not financially, but...
Well, probably not, but I don't think anybody should be held back. And, even in marriage, you have to allow each other to pursue other hobbies. And otherwise, it's not going to be a happy marriage, right? So even in the band, you have to let them pursue other things. Otherwise, it's going to probably create some kind of tension when you get together for your band. So I just thought it was kind of shitty. So, current bassist joined them in 2003, and in 2016 they released their last album. They are in their 50s. I just wanted to put that because they are getting old, and they love to do live shows. They only do 50 shows a year though, so they stop at 50. So that's, everybody knows that. So they're like, nope, we're only doing 50. We need time to recuperate. We need time to stay healthy. And then Ulrich stated in April of 2020 they would work on a new album in quarantine. So if you're a Metallica fan, they are currently working on new material.
New album incoming.
Yeah. Which I'm sure a lot of artists are doing at the moment, working on new material.
Right.
So,
you got nothing else to do.
So I really like this song, and I like... they are definitely a hard-working band. They like to do their live shows and, stay current. But just a couple of the things, like how they treated, that
Yeah,
one
they
bassist
treated
and stuff.
Newstead like crap. I knew like they threw a big tantrum in the beginning because they thought he was just stepping into this role of a massive rock band, didn't earn his way with them and stuff, but that's not his fault.
No, and who else would you have gotten to do? Like, there was nobody else that
I mean, obviously they
grew
thought
with you.
his bass skills were what they wanted, so
Yeah, and he stuck around for a long time.
yeah.
So, yeah, that was kind of when the one Hetfield and Kirk were doing an interview way back, in the with that one. So they had the big hair, you know what I mean? And they're all just like they're giggling that the person was interviewing was asking them about their like style choices, you know what I mean? And they're like, we just wear what is comfortable. We don't care about fads, all that stuff,
Right.
But they're just giggling the whole time. I was thinking, that's Beavis and Butthead. Was that mean of me? I don't know. But you would have to look at those videos if
Right.
you knew who Beavis and Butthead were. You would be like, that's so funny because that is. Because they were just like giggling and I
Right.
thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good song. You guys should
It is.
listen to it. Watch the video. It's really
Mhm.
weird with that movie in it, but it makes sense. I mean, they did a
Right.
really good job at putting that movie in there and making it make sense with the song. So
Yeah. Like it helps bring, content like to the actual song itself when you're watching it. It's like, oh, that gives you that context there. So it's pretty cool.
So that's the podcast, guys. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You definitely have to try this drink, though. It is Brad finishes, and I'm almost done with mine.
Yep.
It's really good.
It is good.
So
Very easy to drink. So
yeah,
you can drink one of these while you listen to the song.
yeah, and enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll see you later.
Cheers.
Bye.